Borax has been one of the most popular cleaning products for well over a century, but how much do you know about its origins? Hi everyone, Ken here. Today we are exploring the Bay Area mansion of the Borax King, a palatial estate with unusual and fabled outbuildings. Hit that subscribe button and let's explore this house. Francis Marion Smith, better known as the Borax King, was a pioneering miner and influential businessman whose legacy extends from the barren expanses of the Mojave Desert to the bustling streets of Oakland, California. Smith's journey from rags to riches is a story of grit, ingenuity, and a relentless pursuit of success. His story begins in the small town of Richmond, Wisconsin, where he was born into a modest family. After completing his education at Milton Academy, Smith, driven by the lure of the West, set off at the age of 21 to seek his fortune in the American frontier. His early adventures led him to Nevada, where he stumbled upon a rich deposit of ulexite at Teal's Marsh. This discovery marked the beginning of Smith's long association with borax, a mineral with vast commercial potential. Teaming up with his brother Julius, Smith founded a company to extract and refine borax. They transported their product 160 miles across the Great Basin Desert to the nearest railroad using a 24-mule team, a precursor to the famous 20-mule teams that would later become synonymous with borax. Smith's operations soon expanded beyond Nevada. In 1884, he bought out his brother's share and shifted his focus to Death Valley, acquiring significant borax properties in the region. By 1890, he had consolidated these holdings into the Pacific Coast Borax Company, creating a virtual monopoly on borax production in the U.S. The iconic 20-mule team borax brand emerged from this era, named after the long mule teams used to transport borax from remote mines to railheads. Smith's advertising manager, Stephen Mather, played a crucial role in popularizing this brand, which became a household name and cemented Smith's reputation as the Borax King. Now with the title of Borax King, it was time for him to build a house suitable for a king. In the early 1880s, he purchased 35 acres in Oakland, California, and began planning not only a mega mansion, but extensive grounds to accompany it. Before the mansion was built, work was started on the extensive grounds. As we wind about the property known as Arbor Villa, we will discover some truly fascinating structures and amenities. The first building to catch our eye rises 5 stories above the tree line. This is the observation tower, where Smith could look out across the bay and all of Oakland from the top of the hill. As the months passed, new structures popped up all over the grounds. Let's head into the glass dome building at the base of the observation tower. Here we find the hothouse, filled with exotic plants meant to grow year-round in high humidity. Heading back outside, we'll travel away from these buildings. As we wind about the property, we encounter dirt paths lined with native grasses. Some of these paths lead us to swimming holes such as this one, while others lead us to water gardens overgrown with lily pads. Never knowing what might be at the end of the next path, let's continue in anticipation. As the trees clear, we find pastures where the groundskeepers were responsible for maintaining the deer and rabbit population, ensuring the property was always teeming with life. Of course, an estate of such magnitude required dozens of groundskeepers who all lived in cottages like this one. As the grounds began to take shape, Smith and his wife opened their piece of paradise to the public for numerous events, including fundraisers to benefit Mrs. Smith's charity, which provided homes to orphaned girls. Finally, 13 years after purchasing the land and developing it into a private park, the house, known separately as Oak Hall, was ready for the Smiths to move in. The 42-room mansion was designed by architect Walter Matthews and cost $275,000 to complete, the modern equivalent of just over $10 million when adjusting for inflation alone. To enter the mansion, we will head up a few steps to find the front door off-center from the porch. Continuing inside brings us to the entrance hall, octagonal in plan and filled to the brim with antiques and artwork. Resting near the base of the stairs, we can look up past the bronze nillpost and peer through the oculus to see the bellows of the built-in pipe organ piercing the ceiling overhead. Before we continue deeper into the mansion, we can pause to admire the smaller details, and while the stair hall might make a grand first impression, it is far from the most impressive room in the house. From the stair hall, we will continue into the music room, doubling as the lesser ballroom. The walls are adorned with intricate murals displaying scenes from antiquity, while hand-stenciled ceilings frame ecclesiastical murals above us. In the bay window, we find a marble statue towering above the gilded piano, where we can imagine a full-time musician gently playing throughout each day. Let's move along to the library, clad floor-to-ceiling in rich, old-growth wood. Not only is it lit by electric lights, but multicolored light penetrates this cavernous space through stained glass windows above each of the half-height bookcases. Next up is the billiards room beyond a solid wood archway spanning over 20 feet wide. This room continues the same decorative motifs as the library, but with a Moorish flair in its furnishings. This eclectic mix of styles is something we see play out in each room, such as in the dining room, which has a traditional hutch paired with an exceedingly modern dining set for the time, as well as a glass curtain wall. Though some of the rooms are more true to a single style, such as the white and gold salon with gilded plasterwork on the cove ceiling. Let's return to the grand staircase now and make our way up to the second floor. At the landing, we can clearly make out the details of each newel post and notice a band of egg and dart molding on the stepped wall panels, details that might otherwise be lost when the silk wallpaper dominates our visual field. This feeds us into the rotunda, where all of these aforementioned details come together. Directly across from us is the organ loft, and to the side of that is a minstrel gallery where multiple musicians would have been playing their instruments out of sight from guests. Also found around the rotunda is the family dining room, a much more comfortable and relaxed space where the family could enjoy their meals, perhaps more reminiscent of Smith's humble origins. Up here we'll find 15 bedrooms, though we won't look at all of them. The greatest room in the house is yet to be seen, so we'll just see these 3 before continuing along. Finally, we make our way into the great ballroom, which was designed to hold hundreds of guests. Not only is there a stage with professional lighting, but the ceiling overhead is domed with alcoves branching off for more intimate seating areas. Unfortunately, Mrs. Smith passed away in 1905, only being able to enjoy the mansion for 10 years. Mr. Smith, however, remarried and lived out the rest of his life enjoying Arbor Villa in Oak Hall. When he passed away in 1931, the nation was experiencing the Great Depression and no buyers could be found for the estate. Items were slowly auctioned off and the land was subdivided for new construction, but seemingly no one could afford to take care of the mansion. Finally, in January of 1932, Oak Hall met the wrecking ball. Thankfully, we still have this handful of photos to remember Arbor Villa and Oak Hall, one of the most magnificent estates to have ever been built in the Bay Area. What did you think about Arbor Villa and Oak Hall? Did you prefer the grounds or the mansion? Let me know down below in the comments section, and while you're there, make sure you are subscribed so you never miss an exciting episode of This House.